Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final season one episode of Real Talk with Shawn Smith. 117 episode. Can y'all believe it? I could not believe it that I made it this far. And by the way, this is the first episode of me being by myself, y'all. So I don't have no guests. I just want to be with y'all by myself on this episode, y'all. The last episode of season one. Of course, it's been a journey, y'all. It's definitely been a journey, I tell y'all. So, yeah, I've been having a guest since episode one, of course. Ever since episode one, I've been having a guest. And I'm just so happy that y'all able to join me so we can celebrate an episode by myself, of course. You know, I want to close it out so we can celebrate and talk about memories and all that. Talk about y'all favorite episodes, of course. I'm glad that y'all able to join me on this last season one episode, Real Talk with Shawn Smith, because we got a lot in store for season two. Trust me, we definitely got a lot in store for season two, which will be kicking off in May. And it's going to be a major changes, and I cannot wait to share those changes with y'all. Of course, you know, I cannot wait for y'all to see the new season, which is going to take place in May in a new studio. So we not going to film up here at UTA no more, but I appreciate them for letting me film up here at UTA. But this is the last episode that I will be filming up here at UTA. We will be filming in a stereo. You know, we don't have to worry about renting our stereo or nothing. We gonna be filming in the stereo for season two. So yeah, y'all, it's like I say, it's been a journey for me, you know, ever since the first episode of Real Talk with Shawn Smith. That was the Luke One episode, and my first guest was Eli. You know, I'm so happy that he was able to join me on that episode. Of course, talking about how he gave his life to God and what does lukewarm Christian mean for him. Because, by the way, last year, that was the first time me hearing that word, you know. I didn't have no idea of that word, but now I know what it means. You hot or cold, you know, you cannot be both, you know, you cannot be both, and that's what lukewarm, because nowadays people, they live a lukewarm lifestyle, and they think God is pleased with that. You got to live a holy lifestyle that's pleasing with God. You cannot be but 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You got to live a holy lifestyle. And so I just so thankful for that brother to join me on that episode. You know, it's been a pleasure. Of course, the health and fitness episode, which was the second episode of the podcast, and that was back in May. The first episode and the second episode was back in May. You know, they talk about why it's very important to stay healthy and fit. You know, I appreciate those two brothers for joining me on this second episode. JJ, which he is a jumper here, which he's part of the track and field team here at the University of Texas at Arlington. And of course, DeAndre, he's a student here at UTA, and he was also on the other episode recently, which was the part one season finale. Of course, he was on there with a dependent guest. I was so happy to have him on the episode. Like I say, y'all, it's been a journey. So many times I wanted to get up on this because I see the numbers. The numbers was not big enough. But guess what? I kept it going. No matter the odds, I kept it going. I didn't care when nobody say people were judging me and all that. They feel like I was not podcast material because the way I talk, my country accent, people don't know. I'm from Texas, you know. I'm from Texas. I do have a country accent. I am different. I'm different in my own style. You know, we sometimes we cannot go by what other people think. You know, many, like I say, many times I wanted to get up on this podcast, because I was not satisfied with how many people was watching it. But God told me to keep it going so I could spread His word and impact other people's life. And this is what this podcast is all about. This is what it's all about, to change people's lives, no matter what they've been through, And you heard everybody else side of the story, and they will tell you, what they've been through. And this is what this podcast is all about. They will share their story on how they gave their life to God. The testimony episode. The testimonies episode was lit. I would love to hear everybody's side of the story on how they gave their life to God. That's why I enjoy doing those episodes on this podcast. Different guests on each episode. Of course, some the same guests will appear on different episodes. Well, of course, we did the Bo Talk episodes. That was good, but we only did two Bo Talk episodes. Bo Talk Part 1, Bo Talk Part 2. And I thank the Lord for those brothers for being on the Bo Talk Part 1 episode. Shout out to AJ. He's a student here at the University of Texas at Arlington. And shout out to my friend Jordan. He's also a student here at the University of Texas at Arlington. And shout out to my friend Shawn. He's a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and he also go to the same church as me, DFW Church. And also Chandy. I really Chance. I really appreciate you, brother. He be coming all the way here from Denton, because he go to UNT, the University of Texas at Arlington. And I appreciate him for joining me on that episode. Part of the guest panel in this episode, and we talk about all kinds of stuff what men go through and what everybody go through in life and all that. The biggest issues that's taking place in life, especially in the media, how men portray men as the bad guys. And we'll be caught up into what the media say and all that. Then we talk about TV shows and then music artists and all that. Then we talk about being in a relationship and all that. What should we do to take how should we take our girl on the first date? What should we do to take our girl on the first date? What would be the best spot to take our girl out on the first date? We talk about that. We talk about everything on that episode. Of course, Botox Part 2 were Channing and Jordan and AJ was not on that episode. It was just me and Shawn and the rest of the brothers that go to my church. Trey, of course, he was on that episode. He was also, before that episode, he was also on the friendship episode. But I've been knowing that dude since 2016, so it's 9 years. I thank the Lord for him. I'm glad that he took out the time to be on this podcast and support me. But that episode, that was fun to do that episode. It was very different. Even though we had sit around and talk, it was like, I think it was like 9 of us, 9 of us. And trust me, that episode was wild. We also had played a game on that episode. We did a while and I won the game segments for a while and out. That was the spinning game we did. And Richard, I can get him. He gonna spit water on me. I was like, Lord. But it was funny though at the same time. People were like, you was mad, you was upset. No, I was not mad upset. I had fun, y'all. That was so fun, y'all. Yeah, and then of course Sean's brother Josh was on there and his cousin Jalen and Corbin was on there, and then their friend, his next door neighbor, and he go to our church, of course. Jose, he was on there, and Richmond, of course. And then, like I say, Trey was on there. And then Sean's other cousin, Caleb, he was on there, which is Corey's little brother. So I was happy to have those guys on both Top Part 2 going. Almost got AJ on there and Jordan on there and chance on there, but they was not able to come on there. And plus, we was filming the day after Thanksgiving, and they have a lot going on. They was not able to do it. But hopefully, season 2 we could do a bow tie part 1. I can get them on there for season 2. Of course, Chance, he was on the part 1 season for now with the rest of the guys, with DeAndre and my friend Todd and my other friend Christian and Todd's homie. And who else was on there? Yeah, it was like 6 of us on there. And I enjoyed doing that episode too. It was just such a pleasure doing this podcast with other people. They was like my guest hosts. They was like my no, they was like my guest co-host. They was like my guest co-host. I was happy to have them on this podcast, again, they intake on stuff. Some of them I did agree and disagree. Some of them I did agree and disagree on some things. But that's okay. That's what this platform all about. And it's good to have a platform for us to express our opinions. We not going to agree on everything, but hey, that's just how it be. I had invited some people to be on the podcast. Some people say to tell me no, and some people say yes, that they would love to be on the podcast. But that's just how it be, being a part of this thing. You gonna get that. You gonna get some people that will tell you no, but you can't take it personal. That's on them. But they don't know what they missing out because one day this podcast gonna blow out. One day this podcast is gonna blow up. Sure, and guess what? They gonna probably hit me up and say, "Hey, can we be on this podcast?" I probably gonna say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm booked. I'm booked with other guests, so I can't put you on." I did have somebody like message me on Facebook and say, "Hey, I would like to be on the podcast. I've been trying to get that person on the podcast since last year." And now he talking about he want to be on here. I'm like, no, season 1 about to come to the end. You just gonna have to wait for season 2. And people, a lot of people, some people, I would say some people, they don't want to be on your platform because it don't fit them and it's not big enough for them. They want to be on a platform that's popular, and that's okay. You don't have to worry about me, I'm good, at least I got some people that support me. And I'm doing this for God. I'm not doing this to buy for violation from other people. I'm not doing this to get violation from other people. I'm doing this for God and to impact other people's lives. I don't care what nobody say, I'm doing this to impact other people's life. And this is what this podcast all about. We talk about God in the Bible and get our strong opinion on it. Then we talk about relationships, friendships, fake friendships. Be aware of the people that you hang out with because not everybody is your friend just because they hang out with you and all that and laugh at you. But you definitely got to be careful with the friendships that you hang out with, the friends that you hang out with. We also talk about politics. I know people don't agree with my political views. People don't know that I am a Republican conservative. They don't know that, some of y'all do know that. But I had strong opinions about political views and all that. And I voted for Donald Trump, of course, and some people did not agree with me on that. Then we talk about acting because that is something that I'm also interested in getting into acting. So yeah, now I did have a couple of guests on those episodes acting. They talk about their experience of acting, and some of them pursuing to be an actor. Some of them is pursuing being an actor. Is pursuing acting, of course, and some of them had acting theater plays and all that. And I want to hear their experience of being an actor and all that. I'm happy to have them on this episode. I mean, I'm happy to have them on the acting episode. I'm just so happy to have them on the episode to share their experience on what it's like to act in a couple of movies and shows and plays and all that. It was also a pleasure to interview the acting movie star Michael J. Patterson. For all y'all don't know, he was playing the father in a movie called The Forge. The Force was in movie theaters back in August, but it's currently playing on Netflix. Y'all should go check it out, of course. Y'all should definitely go check it out. It's a good movie. But I think he only had like one part in the movie. No, I think he had like two parts in the movie. But I'm not really for sure. But he's such a good actor and Disciples and Move. He also acted in that movie, of course. And then he also in the movie War Room. That was such a good movie too. And I also have a picture to interviewing. I also have a picture to interview B.J. Turner. B.J. Turner, he played on Grey's Anatomy, Station 19. That I was starstruck, to be honest with you. I was such a fan of his. I was happy to have him on my podcast. And by the way, he is from here, Dallas and Fort Worth. He followed me on Instagram, which I was shocked. I'm like, this dude was in a couple of shows and movies that I know about. He was guest starring on the hit show Raven's Home. And I was like, man, it's just a pleasure to interview this dude on my podcast. I was starstruck, to be honest with you. Then I got to interview, like I say, a couple of people from TikTok. They did TikTok create. They did TikTok content creators, especially Christian content creators, where they get to share what really inspired them to create Christian content. What really inspired them to create Christian content. And I was happy to interview them. I was happy that they had shared how they gave their life to God, because this walk is not easy, y'all. It's not easy. That's why we got to depend on Him, trust and stay in our word every day. That's what we do. We got to stay in our word. That's the only way we will grow spiritual in our relationship with God, because we definitely got to stay in our word every day. So yeah, I definitely have a pleasure to interviewing people from TikTok. If it wasn't for TikTok, I probably would not have got to know those people, especially from the internet, even people that I've known, for years. I'm glad that they ever took out the time to be on this podcast. We also talk about art, we talk about self-care. That's very important for us to take care of ourselves. We talk about music because, like me, I love music. I know y'all like music too. I'm glad that I was able to get some guests on that episode. Shout out to CJ for being on the first music episode. And of course, Jordan, shout out to him. And shout out to the other people that was on the other music episode later on in the season. But yeah, it's been a journey, y'all. I'm just so happy to like continue this platform. You know, we've been through a whole lot, with everything that's been going on in the world, Everybody died, especially me losing a friend during the early one of this podcast. I lost a friend through suicide, and we had talked about that. That's very important for us to talk about that because people been going through a whole lot of things in life. Life can be very tough, and we think the only way out is to like check ourselves out of here, and that's not the answer. That's why it's very important for us to like lean on God and put our trust in Him and stay in His Word, regardless how life get. We can't let life get the best of us, but the only one that can like save us is God. That's the only one. That's the one we should depend on. Cause yeah, this life can get very tough. Yeah, it can definitely get very tough. So yeah, I have a couple of favorite episodes. Like I say, the testimony episode was my favorite, and the Bow Talk episodes was my favorite. It was good to have a guest panelist on that episode, like we was the View. We talk about this and that. It kept the conversation very interesting, and I know some of y'all people had something to say about the guests while they on this podcast. They don't have no idea what y'all talk. Well, they don't have no idea on what they talking about and all that. They don't have no idea how life is because they live in silver spoon. Like you know anything, I don't know anything about them. But I'm happy that they took out the time to be on the podcast. No, I'm glad. Of course, we talk about protect your peace at all costs. Two other track and field stars was on that episode, and I'm glad that they took out the time to be on that episode to get their opinion on protect your peace at all costs. You can't let stuff get to you. Like I say, you got to protect. If you had to cut off a relationship with friendships or family, do it. If they leaving you, if they stressing you out and all that, and being toxic and all that, cut them off. It's okay to take a break from them. But family, it's okay to take a break from them, of course. Because one day you gonna need them. One day you gonna, but friends, it's okay. If your friends not supporting you and they being toxic to you by calling you out your name and all that, cut them out. Because nothing works your peace at all. Cut them off. And I don't care what nobody say, you got to cut them off. And that's what we've been talking about on this podcast. We get very deep with the conversation. Like I say, some of my guests disagree with me on stuff. I had some guests that are Democrats. And they disagree with me on that, especially with the black community. I did three episodes on the black community. We talk about that, the biggest issue that's going on in the black community. I'm glad that I can use that platform to talk about it because we as blacks, we need to do better now. I'm tired of us being at the bottom. We definitely need to do better. We definitely need to like come together and build our own community. We be complaining about this and that about the white man, but it's not really the white man's fault. It is our fault. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing to make changes? We need to start killing each other up. We need to stop playing this different mindset. We need to start having this different mindset. Always playing the different. We need to stop repeating the same habits that our ancestors did. We definitely need to make a change. We need to start we need to start sleeping with everybody and making babies. And that's how come a lot of these kids, they come from broken homes and all that. They don't have no two-parent home. Because the daddy and all that is in jail, or he do not want to be with the wife. He don't want to be with the mama no more, the baby mama no more. And it's up to the baby mama to raise the kid on her own. And it should not be like that. It's a lot that going on in the black community, and we don't want to admit that. We always want to depend on the government for handouts and all that. We definitely need to make some change on that. I don't care what nobody say. We definitely need to make a big change in the black community. We need to start sleeping around with everybody, and then these women's getting pregnant and all that. We need to start doing that. We black fathers, black men need to start taking care of our kids. We need to start taking care of our kids. We need to be responsible. We definitely need to be responsible. We need to stop all this sleeping around with everybody and having babies and all that. And don't want to take responsibility of our kids. You know. I don't know why people need to get their hands. Stop blaming everything on the white man, because everything is not the white man's fault. We need to take responsibility for our own selves. We always want to complain about this and that. We need to start taking care of our own stuff and looking ourselves in the mirror. We need to start putting it in our community and we don't need to be dependent on this party and all that cussing and drinking, all the same stereotype stuff. And this what's wrong with these reality shows like Love and Hip Hop and all that. All they do is just gossip and drink and all that and fight. And then they don't make no sense. That people think that's how the black community is. They think that's how black people is. Not all black people is like that. We definitely need to make a change. We need to begin marrying, because I feel like, in the black community, it's not much of a marriage. Of course, some people be married, then they be cheating on their spouse and all that. They feel like that they want somebody else and all that, and that's not good. That's not very good. That's why we had so many kids that had problems, you know. And that's why it's very important for us to have this conversation, because I want the black community to do better. I don't care what nobody say. The black community really need to do better. We need to stop with this old habit. We definitely need to stop with this old habit, because we at the bottom. While the other race at the top, we is at the bottom. And we need to start that. I don't care what nobody say. We need to start having this temptation mindset, living in poverty and all that. Oh, I'm black. I cannot get nowhere in life because the color of my skin. And then we preach that to the next generation that's after us, to our kids and all. And we need to stop that, because we could do anything through Jesus Christ. We can do it. Does not matter about our skin color. We need to have a different mindset. We need to have a mindset that we can do anything that can put our mind to. It does not have nothing to do with the color of our skin. We need to stop that. I'm just so sick and tired of hearing that. Oh, we black and all that. We would never get nowhere in life because we black. Oh, they out to get us. We need to stop with that different mindset. Okay, I don't care. Y'all can cancel me if y'all want to. And then that music that we listen to, we need to start listening to that music. We can listen to positive rap music, a positive music that can uplift, especially in the black community. We should not have to listen to a specific music that will tear down our community. Sexy Red and Gorilla and all them, they are disgraceful to the black community. I don't hate them as a person, but the music that they sing is bad for the black community. It's very bad. It's a disgraceful to the black community. And we wonder why we still at the same position. We always worrying about this, oh, what happened long time ago and all that. But what about today? We can move on today. We can have a successful thing today. We can live successful. We can own our own business and all that. Look at what they doing in Atlanta. I'm just so happy for those black people in Atlanta have their own business. Does not have nothing to do with the color of your skin. We can definitely succeed. We can succeed like we did long time ago, you know. We can't let other people get in our head, oh, you cannot succeed. Then you having all these black politicians like Jasmine Cars and what's the other one that Iron Short and they're talking about, oh, you would never, because the color of your skin. And I'll be having that different mindset and telling people, oh, you would never get nowhere in life and all that because your color of your skin, they holding you back. No, you holding your own self back. And we need to get that in our mind. And that's why I had this platform so we could talk about that and talk about our relationship with God. Because to be honest, we start having a relationship with God. We be worrying about these other things. We be worrying about the latest trends. You know, we be wanting like get expensive shoes, expensive clothes, like the BET Awards. The BET Awards, they dressing all kind of way, and I'm like dressing like they just got out of bed. I mean, we need to stop that. We need to stop that. We want to complain about this and that. We definitely need to do better in the black community. I don't care what nobody say. We need to do better, and we can own our own business. We don't have to work on everybody for the rest of our life. We need to teach the generation that. We need to teach the generation that they can succeed in life and have their own business if they want to, or they can work on anybody. But long as they take care of their responsibility, especially having a kid. And I'm talking about y'all black fathers and black mamas, of course. And I'm not all of y'all because I know that y'all taking responsibility and raising y'all kids. But I'm talking about the majority. We need to start laying up with everybody and having kids. And don't take care of those kids. And then abortions and all that. We need to stop that. Y'all know that's a sin to have abortion. Y'all know that's a sin. God is not pleased with that. God is not pleased with that at all. And we need to stop that, okay? We need to do better as a race. Because we can succeed. Look at Oprah on there. Look at Beyonce. They all success. Look at them. They all successful. Beyonce is a famous artist. Oh, but she's a millionaire. Look at what she had achieved. Do not let them tell y'all, oh, it's hard for our black people. No, it's not hard. We can do anything just like the other race can. We need to stop with that mindset. We need to stop with that mindset. I'm sick and tired of hearing that. I'm for real, y'all. I'm for real. We need to do better as a race. I'm sick and tired with this different mindset. I am sick and tired of it. And this is why it's very important to have conversations like that on this podcast. People can disagree with me on this if they want to, but I'm going to tell it like it is. I don't care about losing friends. I will stand by what God tell me to. I will stand by my faith. I don't care about losing friends because I'm not going to take them with me. They're the ones going to have to answer to God on Judgment Day. They is not going to be with me, and I'm not going to be with them when it's their time to when they sit on them when they sit in front of God and tell them, oh, hey, and tell them, and they will have to be judged. They the ones. Nobody's not going to be. That's why we got to stand on our faith. We got to stand on our faith. We cannot be standing on culture. Christ over culture. You know, no matter what the culture say. We get so caught up on what the culture say and all that. We need to stand on our faith. We need to stand on our beliefs. No matter what everybody else think, no matter what the culture think. You know, we need to stand on what God tells us to do. We need to obey God, regardless what everybody else say, regardless what our family members say, or regardless what our friends say. We need to stand on our faith. What God tell us. If God tell us not to do nothing and he tell us to do this, oh, don't go there and there, we need to listen to him. We need to listen to God. I don't care what nobody say. We need to listen to God because he has the final say. He has the final say, regardless what other people say. And y'all can get mad, y'all can cancel me all y'all want, but I'm going to give y'all the real. I'm going to tell it like it is to y'all. We get so caught up with things of this world, but we don't even focus on our relationship with God. Because you never know. God could come back at any time. He could even come back tonight. And we sit here playing around and all that, worrying about Kendrick Lamar and his performance at the halftime show. Oh, he did good. No, he did not do good. Should I listen to his song, They Not Like Us? God told me to listen to the whole lyrics. And my spirit was grieved. God was like, you don't need to listen to that. People treating Kendrick Lamar like a god, and we can't be doing that with these celebrities. We got to be careful because these celebrities be watching the other god, or they be acting like they are god. That's why you got to be careful with what you listen to or what you watch. That's why you got to be careful. Because it's crazy out here. The spiritual realm, especially with those sororities and fraternities, we as Christians should not be taking oaths. You know, will I say those people in the fraternity and sorority bad? No, they not. But that's between them and God. They will have to give account to God. You know, I pray for them, but I'm not going to sit there and say that they going to hell. But it's just going to be between them and God. But as for me, I'm not going to join no fraternity. God do not want me to. After doing so many research and all that, see, we got to obey God, like real talk. It's a lot of things that's going on, and that's what we've been talking about on the podcast. And that's why I love when people share their testimony and give their intake on the questions that I ask them. And I asked them, hey, do y'all think it's okay for Christians to listen to secular music? Some of them say no, we should be careful with what we listen to. And some of them say, long as you listen to the lyrics carefully and all that. And some of them saying that it's okay to listen to secular music, long as you don't let that music influence you, you know. But yeah, we definitely got to obey God. Like I say, we talk about that on the podcast. We talk about a lot of things on the podcast. We talk about health and fitness. It's very important for us to stay healthy because we want to live a long lifestyle, especially for the black community. The black community, we definitely got to be careful with what we eat because we be getting diagnosed, we be having high blood pressure and diabetes and all that and cancer and all that. And we got to be careful with what we eat. We can't be eating fried chickens and fried pork chops every day, and hamburgers and french fries and all that, and ham hocks and sugar, what they call it, salty greens and all that. Just because it's a vegetable, that does not mean nothing. And I know black people like to put a lot of seasoning on their stuff. We can't be doing that. We can't be at Popeyes every week or eating sweets and stuff every day or drinking soda every day because that would have a bad impact on your body. That would affect your health. And that's what we've been talking about. So this can help people along the way. We want people to live a long, healthy lifestyle, especially the black community. And I'm glad that I got some people on this podcast to talk about that, how often we should exercise, why it's very important for us to eat healthy and all that exercise. Trust me, they know. Some of them are trainers, of course. We talk about persevering and all that. Don't give up. Like I say, I almost gave up on this podcast a couple of times. But hey, I'm still here I'm still here, y'all. I'm still going to continue to do it. I don't care what nobody say because this podcast is going to blow big. It's going to blow up one day. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna get big, boy. Cause one day I will be going on tour, one day with this podcast, and it's gonna be blow up because radio used to be a thing, but it's not really a thing no more. Everybody been listening to podcasts, and of course, talk shows. Talk shows used to be a thing, but everybody really don't watch talk shows like that. Podcasts are in the place and all, and that's how it be. I'm just praying that this podcast audience will grow. Why I can impact other people like I say for season 2, and I had mentioned there in the past episodes that season 2 is gonna be some major changes. Of course, this is gonna be a Christian lifestyle podcast. So no more missing in. Go up and deal with me, y'all. So yeah, I'm so excited about that. When people get to share their testimony more, how they gave their life to the Lord, and I'm just so excited about that. I love to hear everybody's testimony, and this is what this platform's all about: to impact other people. Other people, if they decide to give their life to God, they can hear their testimony and say, yeah, this is very interesting, and that's why I want to do. And then we talk about other things that relate to God, like God's calling. I'm happy to have that young man on the episode, Giles. Giles was on the radio version of this podcast back in 2023, you know, but I was happy to have him on the podcast version. On this podcast, I was happy to have him on the podcast version. to share his calling from God. He write books, and he also a singer, and he's an actor. You know, I went to his musical last year. He had played the Prince in Cinderella. Yeah, he had played the Prince in Cinderella, and that was such a good musical play. When he has some more, I'll be glad to come back and support him. That's my little friend. So happy to have him in my life. But yeah, I'm so happy to have him in my life. Thank the Lord for him. He also created the logo for this podcast, and it's gonna be used on the season 2 of this podcast. It's such a good looking logo. But yeah, man, it just like I say, it's been a journey for me to do this platform. I was all over the place when I first started. I was like all over the place, trying to figure out what I want to show. I have a hard time trying to put it on other platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Those episodes is definitely all the episodes is definitely gonna be released on Apple Podcasts and Spotify soon. So that way you can listen to those episodes. Well, you don't have to just watch the episode. You can just listen to it. I know a lot of people like I don't have time to listen to it. I don't have time to watch it. But yeah, you could just listen to the episodes. But I'm just appreciate everybody's support for supporting this black man doing this podcast. It's not easy. Everything's not easy. That's why you got to persevere and keep on going regardless what other people say. I may be nervous and all that. I may say this and that. And I know some people like, oh, he needs speech therapy. Oh, he needs this. But this is the way I talk. I have a country accent. And if you don't like it, do not watch the podcast then. I'm going to continue to be me. I'm going to continue to tell it like it is. And this is what this platform is all about. Especially getting to know some people. The virtual episode, I did a couple of virtual episodes, which was very good, to talk with people, about their experience in life and all, especially their relationship with God, what God has been teaching them and all that, what they've been taught by God and all that. Talk about, of course, like I say, the black community, we talk about that. And then we talk about God's will, because it's very important that we follow His will. That was such a good episode. I was happy to have my friend Keyshawn, and me and Keyshawn, we met last year, towards the end of last year, we had met. We part of this Christian community called Gathering Gang, and he also part of a other organization up here called BSM, or other Christian organization, BSM. I was happy to also have the other dude that's from BSM, Mayfield. Yeah, that's his name. Jay Mayfield. I was happy to have him on that episode after Keyshawn. He was sharing his testimony and all that. Because my goal for season 2, I want to make it diverse. I don't want to just be black people. And I know some of y'all ask like, oh, this just for black people. Oh, this is just for male. That's why I kind of want to like mix it up and make it diverse. And I'm praying for season 2, it will definitely be like that. Where I could get people on there to share their testimony from different backgrounds, because this is what the podcast is all about. So this is what the podcast is all about. Regardless what background you come from, everybody is welcome. especially sharing their testimony, because everybody has a different story on how they gave their life to God. You know, of course, we talk about life after college. Like me, I graduated from college back in 2023 here from the University of Texas at Arlington. And it's good to have forever graduate come here to tell their side of the story, how life after college been for them, how they having a hard time getting a job and all that, what they doing right now, and then on top of that, are they doing something they feel, and then they give advice to those that's about to graduate from college. I'm so happy to have them on here. Of course. And then we talk about visions and goals. That's my other favorite episode. I love to talk about what are we gonna do in 5 years. What are our plans in five? What we see ourselves in 5 years. So I'm happy to have that. A couple of other episodes I wish. Episodes that I wish that some episodes did not make it here on YouTube. We filmed it, but it just did not turn out right. And that's just how it be. Of course, I had filmed at different locations. Here at UTA, here in the library studio, the booth, or the room upstairs in the library one. There's a couple of study rooms, and then of course in the UC or at home. In my gym, of course. But Lord's will, we gonna be filming at one spot, which is the studio. Of course, I have a picture of filming in Atlanta. We almost shout out to that dude Jaden. We did film in person, but come to find I did not even record. I did not even record the episode. So that's why we end up doing it virtually. Even though I was still in Atlanta, but I was getting ready to leave that day to go back here home. But yeah, I'm glad that we was able to do it that morning. I was like, man, how come I forgot to punch record? And that's how it be. And I was supposed to have, before him, I was supposed to have three other dudes that was supposed to be filming that day with me. But they counsel on me, and that's how I be. And I be feeling some type of way about it. People be counseling on me. They say, oh, this and that and do. I say, they must have saw my platform. See, I be insecure about that. But I had to remember that that's on them. I can't sit there and like I can't sit there and hold in, and say, oh, they want to come on my platform because it's small and it does not fit them and all that. I cannot look at it like that. I have to move on. That's their loss. Me doing the podcast, you got to have tough skin no matter what. People will come for you all that, they will put you down, but you have to have tough skin. And that's why I'm learning, I cannot be so caught up into what people think of me and all and how they feel about me. I have to have tough skin. Definitely got to have tough skin because we can't let people get to us. I can't let people get to me. If they feel that way about me, if they don't want to be on this platform, oh well, I can't get upset with it. I have to move on, forgive them, and move on. Like I say, I had asked a couple people to be on the podcast, and they told me no, and we don't think your platform is a fit for me. I was like, okay. Okay, and then they asked me to charge me, asked me how much I would pay, and I was like, I will get back to you. I never did get back to them because the guests that been on this podcast so far, they had not charged me any money to be on this podcast. which I thank the Lord for that, because right now I don't have that type of money, to pay my guests. This podcast is not that big, right? It's a small platform, you know. It's a small platform. But I'm just so thankful for everybody that even took out the time to be on this podcast. It's a struggle, I tell you. It was a struggle trying to get people on here. Now I like, hey, I would like to have you on my podcast, to talk about your intake. Like I say, one thing is the acting. I'm glad that I was able to sit down and talk to those people, especially those that's in college. They go here at UTA. Shout out to Carson and Caleb. Caleb, he's a freshman. And Queso and Carson, I think he's a senior. You know, it was a pleasure to talk to them. And also shout out to my friend Nate Davis. Many times I've tried to get him to come on this podcast, but this dude he be in plays and all that. He about to be an upcoming play, and I'm so excited to see him. And shout out to Chase. Chase, he talked about his experience doing acting and all that. But yeah, the acting episodes was lit. I'm not gonna sit there and lie, they was lit. Um, and then what else though? What else we had talk about? Of course, I say health and fitness, and then change it to health and wellness. Talked to a young man, he had his own fitness business, which was very good. Then Ark, of course, we talk about, or shout out to that dude, Elijah White, for taking out the time to come on this podcast to talk about his art. No, did we talk about art that day? I think that was a motivation episode. Yeah, that was a motivation episode. Yeah, I really appreciate. Then we talk about a success. Yeah, we had talked about it then about achieving success. I was happy to have those brothers on the podcast. And that's when I was filming in the photograph studio across from this booth. And I just decided to film the booth, even though y'all seen that on the third episode when I did the part one self care episode. I had filmed in here, I believe. And I was like, you know what? It's good to film here. It's not so effortlessly. And also shout out to Andre and his son Andre the second for being on the Credit Talk Edition episode. That is very important for us to talk about credit. Of course, that is very important for us to talk about credit because we need to talk about that. Some of us have bad credits, and that really affect us from getting stuff. That really affect us from getting a car or from getting a house or apartment. That's why it's very important for us to look into our credits. It's very important for that's why they had these credit companies. So that way they can fix what's on our credits. So that way in the future we can get a house or a car or apartment or whatever. So they won't keep us from getting these loans and all that, these school accounts, they affect our credits. And that's why that is very important. I wish I don't care, but yeah, that is very important for us to like what's going on with our credit. We talk about family, how family is very important than certain friends. So yeah, like I say, this podcast has been a journey for me. And I really appreciate those who definitely took out the time to be on this podcast. It's such encouragement. It's a blessing to know who supported you. It's a very blessing. It means so much to me. But yeah, this is the last episode of season 1. Can you believe it? I made it. I made it. This is a milestone. I don't care what nobody say. Some of the episodes may not be perfect, but I just so thankful to continue this after all these months, I would say because I had started back in May, but I actually had started back in April. I had filmed in April, but the first episode did not debut into May. So yeah, I'm just so thankful. No, 117 episodes. Can y'all believe it? 117 episodes. It's such a blessing. I thank God that I have made many times I want to give up. But I'm just so thankful. And I appreciate for everybody that took out the time to ever come on my podcast and share their testimony and share their opinion on other topics and all that. It's such a blessing, I tell y'all. It's such a blessing to have a platform like this, especially me being a black man. This is just such a blessing where people can take out the time and talk. This is just, I'm just so thankful. 117 episodes. I thought I would not make it this far. Many times I want to get up on doing content. Many times I want to get up on doing a podcast because, like I say, I'm not podcast material. But you know what? I cannot speak that negativity in I am podcast material. I just in my own different way, in my own unique way. I talk different, because of my country accent. But I don't care. I do not care, y'all, because I will continue this forever and forever and forever. And I don't care what nobody had to say. Yeah, I'm going to continue. And y'all viewers, I appreciate y'all so much for taking out the time to watch my podcast. I'm just so thankful, y'all. I'm just so thankful. I'm full of joy. I'm just so thankful in God. I'm just so thankful to God. It's just been a blessing to me. I just cannot let people get to me. I cannot let people put me down. This has been a journey. And I'm looking forward to season 2 because I got a lot of things in store for y'all for season 2. Of course, this season 1, because this is my beginning season, and I'm just getting started. I would definitely for season 2 have microphones. Of course, some of the episodes I did have microphones, and I had microphones depending on your shirt, depending on people's shirt. I got for 10 Top Shop, but they did not work out. They did not work. They went out. And that's just how it be. I'm just praying that I get more microphones. So, I'm praying that I will have microphone for season 2. Definitely being in the studio, I will have microphone so y'all can hear me loud and clearly. Hear me loud and clearly. That microphone voice. So yeah, I'm just so thankful, y'all. I appreciate y'all for taking out the time to watch this very last episode of season 1, Real Talk with Shawn Smith. Oh, be sure, y'all, all episodes are uploaded on YouTube, and they will soon be uploaded on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I know y'all been asking because y'all want to hear the episodes. as y'all driving in y'all car. I know y'all not able to watch it. Y'all want to hear it because this is a podcast. At first, I was just going to just release it on, just going to release the episode on YouTube. But I'm like, you know what? This is a podcast. I should release it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so y'all can listen to the episode. I'm just so thankful for y'all to support me, especially those who took out the time to guest star on my podcast. Means so much. I am definitely a part of Black History Month. I may not have a big platform. My audience may not be big, but one day I'm gonna get there in the name of Jesus. I speak in addition in the name of Jesus. Should we talk about everything? We talk about relationship with God. We talk about the Bible. We talk about our favorite music, especially our favorite gospel music, and all this how the music touch our hearts, And that's why I love to have a platform like that so we could talk about anything that comes to our minds. Everybody get out and what you have to get out. We may not agree on everything, but that's just how it be, y'all. That's just how it be, of course. But yeah, y'all, I thank y'all so much for joining me on this very first episode of me being by myself with no guests. With no guests. Can y'all believe this is my first episode without a guest? I'm like, you know what? I will do the very last episode, season 1, by myself. I don't need no guests. I want to sit down and talk with y'all. Y'all get to know me by myself. You know, sometimes may not be fun like that. I prefer to have people on the episode with me, because it makes the conversation more interesting and all that. But I'm glad that I was able to do this by myself. Like I say, y'all can catch all the episodes on YouTube. And please subscribe to Real Talk with Shawn Smith YouTube channel. And also follow Real Talk with Shawn Smith on Instagram. And follow my Instagram, Shawn for Real Smith. You can follow my Instagram, Shawn for Real Smith, on Instagram and Twitter, of course, and TikTok, of course. I'm definitely gonna be creating a TikTok for this podcast. Now, should I create a TikTok for? I don't know if I should do, but definitely Facebook and Twitter. I need to create a page for that. I know some of y'all like, what's the Twitter and what is the Twitter and Facebook for your podcast? We don't see your podcast on those social media platforms. Trust me, I will create a social media platform. I will create a social media page for. I will create a social media page for on those. I will create a social media. I will create a Facebook and Twitter for the podcast. So those that's not on Instagram, they can check it out. They can check out what I had posted and all that. I took a picture with the guests and I will use that for the thumbnail for YouTube. And y'all can check that out. Y'all can look at that and then go like, and then y'all can see clips of the upcoming episode. And I know I'm bad on, I would like release an episode, even though would promote it before when I release the episode, I would promote for people to check it out. But I would love to do it probably a week before the episode be released. After I film the episode, I need to put a clip on that, like other platforms do. They put a clip on that episode before it be released and let people know, do not miss this episode. This episode will drop on this day, and that's what I need to do. I know I be saying, oh, this episode gonna drop out with everything that's been going on, my journey and all that. I end up being so behind on releasing episodes, 2 months behind, of course, 2 months behind or 3 months behind, with everything that's been going on with my life, personal life. So it takes me the time to release episode later, late. And I'll be saying, oh, it's going to be released on Friday. I am releasing it on other days. It won't be happening like that on season two. I will be filming an episode a week before it be released. I'm going to release the episode a week after I film it. And they going to be released on Wednesday and Friday, just those 2 days out of the week, Wednesday and Friday. And I'm going to make sure that I won't be behind. Once I film the episode, I will go ahead and release it the week after. Because, if you do that, you will end up losing your audience. And I definitely don't want to do that. You know, Despite everything that I had going on in my life, I should definitely be consistent. This is very important. If I want my audience to, this goes for everybody who trying to do a podcast. You definitely got to be consistent, regardless of what you got going on in your life. Make sure that you release episodes. I know that we all go through depression and the mental health, and that's what we had talked about, men's mental health. With me starting with depression and all that, at times I don't want to be one to do stuff, and that's okay. That's why it's very important to like take a break, regardless what other people say. Just take a break. You can't worry about what other people say. Eventually you will come back and do it. It's not going to go nowhere. It's not going to go nowhere. Take care of yourself. That's why self-care is very important, especially for us men, because we get caught up into a lot of things. We hold a lot of stuff in, because society teaches us to be so tough, and they be up on us on the media and all this saying that all men is bad. And that's not true. All men is not bad because some of us is good. It depends on what man that that you go, it depends on the man, because always some good men out there, like it is some good women out there. We cannot just be settled for less. We can't just take, abuse and all that, and they make us don't want to date or get married no more. We is not made to be alone. God wants us with somebody, but it got to be with the right person. We can't just get with just anybody because they look good on the outside and on the inside they don't accept abuse, don't let nobody abuse you, tell you this and that, and then you have to accept it. Don't let that be doing just the same. Do not let that, don't let their toxic get to you, don't let they accept they toxic. If they toxic and abusing you, I suggest that you leave them, and if they trying to like talk to you, give a restraining order. That's what you do. Give a restraining order. Find somebody that will treat you right, that will support you, especially with friendships. Because I lost a lot of friends. People who I thought was my friend, I was wrong. They was on my friend because I agree with everything that they do. Or we think the same and all that. They really was not my friend, They was pretending to be my friend. This is why it's very important for us to hang out with the right people. That unequally yoked. That's the reason why it's called unequally yoked. We cannot be hanging out with everybody. You think everybody's our friend and all that. We can't do that, you know. Everybody's not meant to. Everybody is not our friend. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody's not our friend. We need to get that in our head, especially with relationships, because it's some fake people out there, and that's why we definitely got to be careful. Friendships, we definitely got to be, dating relationships, we definitely got to be careful. We should not take they toxic. You know, we should not take people verbally abusing us, physically abusing us. No, we should not do that. You know, call our name and tell us, oh, you this and that. No, you don't need those people in your life. You do not need those people in your life. Let them go. You know, if they not treating you right, you should let them go. I don't care what nobody say. Oh, you not being Christ-like. No, let them go. There's a reason why God removed those people out of your life. He removed a lot of people out of my life, and I thank him so much for it, because they could lead me to a wrong path. They not going what you going. That's why it's very important for us to move on. Yeah, just move on. It be people, shoot, God will put other people in your life that will treat you right, that will also help you accountable, tell you something that you needed to hear, not that you wanted to hear every time. Somebody that's healthy for you, that will support you, you know, they will, like again, they will definitely support you and be there for you. Do your ups and downs and would not make fun of you or talk behind your back. Because if they do that, cut them off. Cut them off. If they do that, cut them off. But again, y'all, I appreciate y'all for being on this episode of Real Talk. Again, y'all, I appreciate y'all for watching this last episode of season 1, Real Talk with Shawn Smith. All episodes are on YouTube. Y'all should go check it out. The first episode, the lukewarm Christian episode, and then the second episode, Health and Fitness, and then the third episode, Self and Care, because these very important, and these what we deal with in our everyday life, you know. Y'all should definitely check out, of course, the friendship episode, and we talk about that. You know, it's very important to have good friends in our life. We should not have these what they call it, one-way street friends. You know, one-way street friends. We should not have them in our life. We should have two-way street friends. You know, friends that would treat y'all right and not treat you any kind of way because you different from them. Because you different from them. We should have friends that would treat us right and be there for us when we need them. They will be there for you and will not treat you any different just because you different. If they do that, you don't need them in your life. You should cut them right. You can be nice. You can speak to them how about and let them go. You don't have to hug them, shake them, touch them. Because people carry bad spirits. That's why you got to be careful, child. You definitely got to be careful. So, y'all, I'm about to go. And like I say, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching this episode. And see y'all on season 2 episode of Real Talk with Shawn Smith in May. Y'all, the new season is May. This is not goodbye. It's see y'all later. And y'all have a fantastic 3 month. And remember to always put God first, you know. Your life would be much better if you put God first and stay in your word and pray every day. That's the only way we can depend on him, you know. We can't depend on everything in this world. Y'all take care and see y'all next time on this season 2 of Real Talk with Shawn Smith. Peace, and y'all come back now. Yeah, 117 episodes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 117 episodes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a big milestone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this will be our last time filming here at UTA. Bye. Thank them so much for letting me film. Yeah. Bye, y'all.